Salwa Abdallah was recuperating from a cesarean section when soldiers burst into her home. They were from the Rapid Support Forces, one side in Sudan's 19-month-old war. They accused her of supporting their rivals, the Sudanese army and its allies, and threatened to kill her, her child and her mother, and rape her daughters.
I gave them the money I had. They asked me to give them my jewelry. I told them I will give them my jewelry. They told me, give us the jewelry while we go to another home and come back to you. Once they left to the neighbor's home, I took my daughters quickly, despite my C-section, and moved my mother, and we hid in the animals' enclosure.
The incident took place in Sudan's Al-Jazeera last month. The eastern state has suffered a series of intense violent raids over the past 2 weeks, affecting, according to activists, at least 65 villages and towns. Having walked for days, Abdallah and her family are now at a camp in neighbouring Kassala state. They are among the 135,000 people the United Nations says have been displaced by this latest burst of violence. Al-Jazeera had already been subject to a violent looting campaign by the RSF since it took control last December, but the defection last month of its chief in the state unleashed a series of revenge attacks. The Wad Medani Resistance Committee, a pro-democracy group, named 169 people killed since the violence began on October 20, though in a statement it said there were hundreds more. The worst incident was in El Sirieha, where the committee said 124 people were killed on October 25. Video verified by Reuters showed RSF soldiers lining up men. Many of them were elderly and some in blood-splattered clothes. Another video verified by Reuters showed dozens of bodies wrapped up in sheets for burial. The RSF has denied ordering the attacks and said they were the result of the army arming local communities. The war has unleashed a hunger crisis across Sudan, with both sides accused of hindering international aid. Back in Kassala State, Hashim Bashir sits in the bus that brought him here from his home in Al-Jazeera. His leg was amputated before the war began, but his disability didn't stop soldiers from throwing him out of his home.
They are very vicious. They do not have mercy for the old, women, men or children. They beat. If you survive their gunshots, they hit you on your head. If you survive this, they will beat you with a whip just like children, and they make you cry like children.
His niece, Fayeja Mohammed, says soldiers beat her uncle and threw his wheelchair on top of him. She was also beaten, she says, including her earring being ripped from her ear. They displaced us, burned down our homes and starved us, she says. May God inflict harm on them.